First time since this rivalry started back in 1976, an all Big Ten slate kept Hopkins and Towson from playing a year ago. An untraditional year with unfamiliar results for both. But today, the start of a new year for the Tigers, with the Blue Jays eyeing a 2-0 start to the season for the first time since 2017. It's our CAA Game of the Week. Number 19, Hopkins versus Towson at Johnny Unitas Stadium here on LSN. And with that, we welcome you alongside Brendan McDaniels. I'm Travis Eldridge. What a way to kick off this 2022 season here on Lax Sports Network. And Brendan, this is a rivalry that has favored the home team as of late.
Yeah, it's interesting because these teams are right down the road from each other. So the home team has got the win, but they're not traveling that far to go on the road. What a game to start off this Lax Sports Net season. Two blue bloods in college lacrosse. Let's get this started.
We cannot wait. Let's take a look at some players to watch. For the Hopkins side of things, keep your eye on Joey Epstein. He did not score last week against Jacksonville, but as a three-time captain, he puts a lot on himself to get this program back to where he wants it to be.
He absolutely does. He has 118 career points in 35 games. He has 27 multi-point games. You mentioned he didn't score against Jacksonville last week. He is going to get his points today. Towson has to watch out for him. He can score in a variety of ways.
An All-American caliber attackman on the other side. Towson's got an All-American caliber defenseman. Kobe Smith scored a couple of times the last time these two programs met in 2020.
Yeah, big, tough defender, 6'5", 195 pounds. He will lock down the number one scorer for Hopkins, but he'll also move the ball in transition, as you can see right here. This is the Achilles heel of Hopkins against Jacksonville last week. This is where Towson can take advantage of these odd man rushes, and Kobe Smith is going to be a huge part of that.
We are about set to go here at Johnny Unitas Stadium. Let's take a look at the starting goaltenders we have for these two programs, and we will start on the Johns Hopkins side of things, sporting those sharp-looking black uniforms here on the road. It's Josh Curson once again getting the start here for the second straight week. Curson getting the win over Jacksonville, giving up 8 goals in that first game, the grad student who transferred over from Ohio State. On the Towson side of things, it's Shane Brennan, another veteran who gets the start in the crease for the Tigers. This guy has been through it all, number one in the white jerseys here at home for the Tigers. He's a 6th-year guy out of Huntington Station, New York last year. Goals against average right around 11, stopped about 51% of the shots that he saw. At the face-off X here, Brendan, we're going to get a new look for the Tigers as they will go with the freshman, Matt Constantinides, the native of Connecticut, getting a start in his first career collegiate game.
Yeah, Shane Santora, we're going to see him hell a little bit, but he got outplayed in the preseason camp, and so Constantinides is going to get the opportunity, but they're going to play the hot hand. So if Constantinides stays hot, he's going to play, but if not, we might see Santora back and forth.
You see Curson there for Hopkins. This is a Towson program that we mentioned in the open. Unfamiliar results for the Tigers. They missed the CAA tournament last year for the first time under head coach Sean Nadalin. And to give you perspective, this is Nadalin's 11th season as the head coach for the Tigers. It was a disappointing year for the Tigers as they finished 6-8, 3-5 in the CAA as they played 8 conference games. A disappointing end, but they would love nothing more to put that behind them, get a marquee win here to start this 2022 season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a big game for both teams. I mean, early season, out of conference, your local rivals, you both want these. And you see Johns Hopkins comes in ranked, Towson's receiving votes. It's pivotal for both because both of these teams have a lot of ranked teams on their schedule throughout the season. There's 10 ranked teams for Towson, 12 for Johns Hopkins. So all these games are crucial, especially if they don't win their conference. To get an opportunity to at-large bid, they need these big wins.
At the face-off X for Hopkins, it's Tyler Dunn, and he wins the opening draw, and we are underway here on LSN. Number 19, Hopkins will get the first possession, and we get our first look at their offensive unit. Here is the aforementioned Joey Epstein, mentioned him in the open, former number 1 overall recruit. Jack Keogh, Jacob Angelus, and Garrett Degnan, the starting midfield here for Hopkins today. And they have slid Brendan Grimes, who was part of that second midfield in the first weekend. They've slid him up to start at attack here today. as Connor DeSimone, another highly regarded recruit when he came into Hopkins, has it at X, and now they spin it around.
Yeah, this is a very talented offensive unit for Hopkins. They were a little clunky at times against Jacksonville, but that was game one. That's to be expected. But once these guys hit their stride, they're going to put up lots of goals.
Here is Grimes on the wing. Now back to the top. This is Angeles. Scored a goal in the opener against Jacksonville, an 11-8 win for Hopkins to kick off the season at Homewood a week ago. Here's Dagnan. Shot clock is down to 10. On the run, and the first shot goes for the Blue Jays. It's the big man, 6'4", 200. Garrett Dagnan makes it 1-0 Jays.
Dagnan, a DeMatha product, and he did a great job on this play because really, the 6-on-6 defense for Towson was outstanding. I was just about to say how solid this defense is. You just see that little move right there, gets his hands free, gets that sidearm shot, and blows it by Brennan. A really nice job staying patient by the Hopkins offense. They took 70 seconds to get a really good shot off, and they got the goal.
Another face-off win here for Dunn. A hot start. He flips it back. Loose ball is scooped up, though, here by Garrett Zingalia. Towson can go in transition. Zingalia, long pull chance, easily snagged by Curson.
Well, that's what we mentioned. If there's any Achilles heel on this Hopkins team, is transition, and Jacksonville was able to take some advantage of that the other day. So if Towson's out, had the opportunity to get some odd man chances, they really got to go for it. And that was a nice-looking shot, but it was a
gets
good
it
save.
right back, but it's turned over. So a couple of transition chances early here for the Tigers, but they can't capitalize.
Yeah, this is the thing that you got to just see for Towson. You got to keep pushing it up. You got to keep seeing if you can see the numbers. If you get a 3-on-2, 4v3, and get an opportunity to get a shot before you get 6-on-6 settled offense, because they can take advantage of this. And this might be where they get they can sneak an extra goal or two out of Hopkins.
Good pressure there, and the Tigers get another opportunity. And now, as you might expect, they will settle things down for their first real offensive possession. Tigers going with Bodie Maurer, Nick DeMeo, the transfer from Maryland, and James Avanzado at the start at attack. The first midfield, Kyle Berkeley, Ryan Swain, and Andrew Milani.
This is a Towson offense. They got a couple different parts going, and so it's going to be interesting to see how these guys all function in their first couple possessions because they've moved some guys around a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of start they get off to.
It's a Tigers offense that returns 4 of their top 5 scorers, but you include some freshmen and some transfers, and it's an offense that has a little different look to it from a year ago.
Yeah, as we mentioned, they moved some guys around, given some guys some other opportunities, and take a look at that.
An absolute snipe by Andrew Milani. He goes top shelf on the sidearm rip, and it's 1-1.
And we just mentioned this. They've got a lot of different parts. They've moved some guys around, but Milani gets a nice shot from deep and puts it in. This is what you want to see from Towson. Some success early. Take a look at this again. So Milani, he's got the shorty on him. The shorty does not respect him from that far out. Just a nice goal, just going over stick side of the goaltender to get that in for Towson. And that's something that we're going to want to keep an eye on for Towson. How much respect are these defenders going to give these Towson shooters? And right there you saw, playing a couple yards. The defender was playing a couple yards off. He almost allowed Milani to go ahead and shoot that deep, and he took him up on it and he benefited from it.
So the face-off X, we've seen Dunn get the advantage here over Constantinides early. Constantinides looked like he won the clamp here, but now it's a loose ball scrum, and it's picked up by the Blue Jays. Here comes Dunn, the face-off man. Epstein behind the back. Tough shot is stopped. Nice job by Brennan to get a piece of that. And it's the Tigers that look to go in transition, but once again, some sloppiness and another turnover.
They were looking for Kobe Smith up around midfield to push that ball in transition. But when you look at this Towson defense, that's exactly what you want. Only give up one shot. Do not give up second and third chance opportunities to these Hopkins shooters and get the ball out quick. Everything worked well on that defensively for Towson, except for the outlet pass to Kobe Smith. Some
confusion of where this will be, and now it's put in play. It's Brett Martin, the short stick defensive midfielder for the Blue Jays, who will get it across the midfield stripe. Remember that...
they're looking... Oh, sorry, I was just going to say, they're trying to get it over midfield so they didn't have to get the double team and the midfield line, but they ended up clearing it all right without a problem.
Remember, Brendan, this is what I was going to say, the new shot clock reset rules that are now into effect here in 2022. As soon as this shot clock hits below 60, as it has now every reset of the shot clock will just be back to 60 seconds. No longer is it the full 80 for an offensive possession. Very similar to what you see in college basketball or the NBA with the new shot clock resets.
Yeah, and it's a positive step forward for men's college lacrosse because the shot clock was something that was much needed, but now on the reset, you still give them a lot of time, but you don't give them that extra 20 seconds. That makes a difference. It just makes the offense move a little bit faster.
Here's Jonathan Peshko, had a goal in that opener. He gets it to Epstein on the wing. Still looking for his first goal of the season. Takes a big hit. Somehow keeps possession, and he scores! Flag down as well. What an effort by Epstein.
That was a very late flag. I'm guessing this is going to be on Kobe Smith, but Joey Epstein took a lick and kept on ticking on that one. Hits the deck, finds his way back up. Take a look at this. Boom! Falls right down, keeps the ball in his stick. Look at this. Wraps it around another defender. Oh, there you go. There's a late hit right there. So the penalty is going to be on Travis Maynard for that cross-check at the end. So get the goal and the penalty afterwards. What an absolutely magnificent play by Joey Epstein. He took two big hits on that play, but in between he got the goal.
Tell you what, that is one heck of a way to score your first goal of the season for Epstein.
Yeah, he was held scoreless in that first game against Jacksonville, but Johns Hopkins had 8 different scorers in that game, so they did not need to force the issue with Joey Epstein. And to give Jacksonville credit, Joey Galloway came with a good game plan, said, we are not going to let Joey Epstein beat us. The only problem is that Hopkins is so stinking deep that they got beat by a bunch of other guys, including Jack Keogh and Connor DeSimone, who we already talked about.
Man down face-off for the Tigers. They stuck Sam Moore in the long pull out there, just trying to muck it up, and that's exactly what they do. At least they can take a little bit of time off as they force the Blue Jays back. As now Hopkins will attempt to get into the man up for the first time today. Got Jack Keogh in there, part of that first midfield unit. Degnan, who already has a goal. Epstein and Peshko, another one of those midfielders who can stretch the defense a bit as part of this man-up unit for the Jays.
Yeah, looks like they're running 2 separate triangles, one up top and one down low to get an open shot.
Shot deflected on its way through. Nicely done by Brennan, and he outlets it right on the money. Opportunity here in transition, and the Tigers strike man down. How about that? Nick DeMeo with his first goal in a Tigers uniform. The Maryland transfer ties it up.
Well, that's what we were talking about, the transition game for Towson. This is where they can take advantage of Hopkins, and they score man down. Nice pass by Kobe Smith. Look at all that room DeMeo has, and a nice laser up high. They scored their first goal up high against Kearson, and they got that the second time around. That is an absolute huge goal for Towson to score man down.
So this has been quite the electric start between these two rivals. We are just a hair less than 6 minutes in. Already 2 goals apiece, including a big-time flag. And it's a face-off won by Hopkins as they'll get another possession.
Yeah, it's interesting that Hopkins has dominated the face-off acts, but we see ourselves 2-2 here with the first 6 minutes of the game.
Epstein being defended by Zingalia there on the wing. And now they get it up to the top to Jacob Angelus. Keogh down the alley, off the pipe, and resets the shot clock. The rebound comes out here to Hopkins, and so they get a reset of 60.
Yeah, that was a nice looking shot. He just clanked it off the pipe. But Hopkins so far, they're getting some good looks. Brennan's been good so far in the cage. He's had a couple nice stops. He's given up a couple, obviously, but this is a very talented Hopkins team. This is a team that's going to put a lot of goals on the board. So any way you can get a save, whether it's the ball hitting the pipe or Brennan making the save, you take it.
Good patience here from Peter Milliman's squad. Milliman in his second season at Hopkins took over following the 2020 shortened season for the legendary head coach Dave Petramala. Here's Angeles in the wing, feeds in front, great look, and another finish from Degnan. He's got a pair here in the first.
Degnan with a nice backdoor cut right there, right down the alley, showed his stick, got the ball, made the quick shot, and the score. Nice play by Hopkins. This is a really nice, fluid offense for Johns Hopkins. Take a look at it again. You see everybody is looking at the ball, goal line extended. The flip by Angeles goes to Degnan. He's got 2 early goals so far. Just a well-executed play by the Hopkins offense.
Now 3 goals for Garrett Degnan so far this season. He had 3 straight hat tricks at the end of last year. First Hopkins mini since A.J. Hagan all the way back in 1999 to accomplish that. As the Tigers win the faceoff, they get it there to their short stick D mini Reese Potter. He has it taken away. Potter with a big hit on the sideline. It's still in on that far side and now scooped up by the Tigers.
Yeah, that was a long time coming. That was about 18 seconds before Towson could actually get possession and get a touch in the box.
Look at the second midfield unit here for the Tigers. Austin Stewart in there, as is Alex Reed, number 3 in white. Stewart dodges the wing, now sends it behind to Avanzado. Here's Austin Dukeman, the sophomore. DeMeo shot wide, backed up there by the Tigers.
Yeah, not the best of a shot selection. You're just trying to get something on the goal, so they'll have the ball with 23 seconds because that's not a reset because it wasn't a shot on goal. But Towson's just going to look for some opportunities, whatever way they can get them.
Stewart trying to find some space to beat the short stick. On the backside, a one-timer by Nick DeMeo. The feed from James Avanzado, and the Tigers tie it back up at 3.
We talked about the last goal for Hopkins being a beautifully executed play. How about this one by Towson? You take a look at it right here. Stewart tries to sweep up top, doesn't have anything. So he dumps it down, and a beautiful cross-crease pass right there to DeMeo. Nobody was looking backside. They caught the Hopkins defense sleeping, and then DeMeo was able to get in the second goal of the game. This has gone back and forth. Some really nice offense in the early going for both teams.
Another face-off scrum, initially won by the Blue Jays, but nicely done by Colby Bars off the carpet. And the Tigers a chance to clear and get the possession.
Yeah, Hopkins, their ride has backed off a little bit. Looked like they were going to put some more pressure up.
Long pass ends up in the stick of the goalie Curson, so another turnover for the Tigers.
Yeah, and that was really unforced because Hopkins had kind of taken the pressure off on their ride and was allowing them to ease it up a little bit more as a flag comes in. They'll have to check the penalty here.
Looks like it's an offsides coming on the Tigers, so Blue Jays free possession here. They'll take their time to get the second midfield on. Jackson Raposo in there along with Jonathan Peshko here at the top. They bring on Casey McDermott as well. Here's McDermott, full head of steam. Skips it behind. DeSimone picked up by Kobe Smith there on the wing. Second man up of the game coming here for the Blue Jays. Feed inside, good look. Shot wide, and now we will get the penalty.
So So you mentioned this is going to be the second man-up opportunity for Hopkins. Their last time they had man-up, they gave up a goal man down in transition.
James Avanzato, the guilty party, as he goes to the box for the offsides call.
So we'll see how Hopkins set ups in this time. It looked like the first time they ran their man-up offense, they had two triangles going. You see a triangle up top, they see the three up top, and you're going to see the three down low form another triangle down there. And so they're going to move the ball around to see if they can get something in that middle piece. Watch out for number 9, right down there for Hopkins, Brendan Grimes.
Here's Epstein, already has one today, just wide. Back up there by Grimes. Grimes, one of the players for Team USA for the now U21 team that is excitedly getting ready for a trip to Ireland this summer to compete finally in the now U21 World Championships. This World Championships has been delayed a couple of years so far. On the doorstep, DeSimone stopped. Brennan with his save. Loose ball on the end line, finally now picked up by Epstein. Hopkins gets a fresh shot clock because the change of possession, another save by Brennan.
Yeah, nice looking save by Brennan. He had to get really low and extend out for that one. It was a nice shot.
We are back to even strength now as the Tigers bring it across.
You see Brennan already has 5 saves in the early going. He has looked pretty good. He's been taking a lot of shots. Deflection
through, great takeaway. Loose ball to Mayo, try to keep it alive. It's kicked ahead, and the Tigers right there, it's Kobe Smith.
Yeah, smart play by Kobe Smith to stay up there on the offensive end. It's still technically a transition phase right there, even though it took them 30 seconds to get the ball back. But Kobe Smith stays up there because he's got the ability to move the ball offensively, even with that long stick. He's got that big body, so he's not afraid to go in there and scrap it up with those offensive players.
Here's Swain, 4th in the team in points a year ago with 24 of them. Sweeping across, can't get those hands free. Down to 18 on the shot clock, little miscommunication there. Milani turns it over.
Yeah, just seeing some drops by Towson, and this is to happen in the first game of the season. And you got to remember, with last year being kind of funky, there's not a lot of team lacrosse games that have been played over the last 18, 24 months. So you're going to see a little bit of sloppy play in the early going from a lot of these teams in college lacrosse once they get into a rhythm.
That was obviously clear in talking to Joey Epstein this week. He's like, a win's a win, but we weren't exactly thrilled with how we played against Jacksonville. Wanted to clean some different things up. Obviously, the transition game helped the Dolphins get right into that game in the third quarter last week at Homewood.
Yeah, and that was the thing, is they said we weren't as sharp as we wanted to be.
Well, that's pretty darn sharp. Towson had dropped into his zone defense, and Brendan Grimes makes him pay.
Yeah, Grimes, a 6'4", 220-pound sophomore from Boys Latin, just with a really nice shot. And take a look at it again. And you see that, you mentioned that zone, that they don't shift over at all. You give Grimes that lefty opportunity, and he doesn't even foul through with his stick. He just kind of takes a half shot right there and just whizzes it right by Brennan. What a great shot.
Dagnan picks up his first assist of the season. He's now got a couple of goals and an assist so far today. Loose ball scooped up there by Hopkins. And another possession for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Hopkins has been so dominant at the faceoff action this first quarter. I mean, they've controlled time of possession throughout this quarter, and it's surprising that Towson has 3 goals with the lack of time that they've had the ball.
Though I think you do have to remember how many faceoffs that Hopkins has won. It's been a couple that have ended up in Tigers' offensive possessions right off the bat. That was deflected on its way in.
Yeah, Towson's done a good job of creating some turnovers early with those faceoff opportunities to get themselves the ball, but they've got to win some clean ones at the faceoff action as this game goes on.
Angeles through the defense, another one. Hopkins with its first 2-goal lead of the day. It's 5-3.
And Angela's the 5'7", 160-pound junior. Kind of just weaves his way through the defense and gets through all those trees on that big Towson defense. Take a look at this. Look at, gets it in and just sees the defense closing in on him and takes the shot before the closeout comes and gets the goal. What a nice job by Angeles on that one.
Second of the season for the junior out of Chantilly, Virginia, at 24 points a year ago. Constantinides, once again, the freshman at the faceoff X for the Tigers, and he wins it back to himself.
Yeah, that was it. He had a good clamp. He had a good box out on that one and was able to get the faceoff win. He's a young guy. Sean Nadal is very high on him. He's very impressed with what he's done coming in as a freshman in the early part of camp this year.
It's a former 3-time All-State selection in the state of Connecticut. Played for New Fairfield High School, helped that program go 68-2 in his high school career.
Also was the starting quarterback on the football team as well.
Talk about a pretty good athlete.
Yeah, I mean, you're the quarterback and you're the star of the lacrosse team. I mean, you're a pretty popular guy in that school.
Here's Andrew Milani. Milani, a guy who spent some time in the attack unit last year, is switched to midfield this season. Now Berkeley at the top. Still 20 seconds to operate here for Ryan Swain. They forgot about DeMeo. He was wide open there for his second.
Yeah, he's kept himself out wide on that wing, and he's caught the Hopkins defense sleeping a couple times already.
Whoa, what a move and a score! Kyle Berkeley. Slick stuff from the junior.
Yeah, the transfer from Maryland comes in and gets his first goal of the season. And you saw a little bit earlier when he was cradling it up top. He was kind of looking for a shot and kind of had his arms cocked while he was cradling, looking to see if he could kind of get a quick shot off and catch the defense sleeping. He didn't get it. But then back on that second time, he comes through and is able to weave himself through the defense. He throws a fake and he freezes the defense and allows himself some extra room, and then he's able to get the goal in.
That was one heck of a slick dodge. First goal in a Towson uniform for Kyle Berkeley. Guy who's technically a junior when it comes to playing time, but is a grad student for the Tigers. Studying to be a homicide detective. 6'4", 220. He's got the makeup of somebody I wouldn't want to fool around with.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with him if I got to go get interrogated by something.
No, for sure. As Hopkins wins yet another faceoff, back to their success at the X. Final 12 seconds of this opening quarter. It has been a fun one. DeSimone into the middle. One more good look, but a save by Brennan. And that is how this opening quarter will end. All sorts of fireworks through the opening 15 minutes here at Johnny Unitas Stadium. It's the Blue Jays with a few more. Joey Epstein showing off the toughness, takes the hit, gets the glory. Blue Jays up one after one. Getting ready for the start of the second quarter here at Johnny Unitas Stadium. Travis Eldridge, Brendan McDaniels back with you on LSN. You look at what Hopkins did a year ago, 4-9, though it was an all Big Ten regular season, so it was not an easy slate for Pete Milliman in his first season. They seem to figure some stuff out down the stretch of the regular season and into the Big Ten tournament here, Brendan, but still a disappointing season by the Blue Jays standards, and it's something that Pete Milliman, when we were talking to him, he doesn't want to harp on last season at all. This is full steam ahead this year, looking to get to 2-0 here tonight.
Yeah, just look at clean up what happened last year, and we've talked about it. I mean, last year was a funky COVID season, and, you know, things are really off kilter for a lot of teams. But you saw at the end, they picked up the end. 2 of their 4 wins came in the Big Ten tournament. They eventually lost to Maryland in that one, and they were able to get some valuable experience. But this year's a new year. They've got a veteran team. They've got a good team, and Pete Milliman's looking for them to be way better than what they're ranked at number 19. He thinks this is a team that's got the potential to be much, much higher than that.
And they get the first possession of the second quarter.
We've seen some good offense so far from Hopkins. They've been very creative. They've moved the ball around. They've gotten a lot of different guys involved in the offense. Continue to watch them to do that, to continue to make Towson stay on their heels and make them defend all 6 guys, because all 6 guys are a threat.
Epstein looking for that cross crease pass, deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with the Jays. Does not reset the shot clock, so it stays at 52. Obviously, still plenty of time as Epstein tracks it down and works from X. Epstein gets the screen and another. This one a little easier than his first. A pair for Epstein here in the first half.
Well, we talked about he was scoreless against Jacksonville. We knew he wasn't going to be scoreless in this game. There was not any chance that you're going to keep Joey Epstein scoreless for 2 games in a row. This is his 28th multi-point game. He comes out from X, gets the nice screen right there. And you see Brennan. Brennan guessed low. He went low and gave the entire top of the cage to Joey Epstein. Joey Epstein waited, made sure he could see the opening, and he got a really easy goal because he made Brennan bite on what he thought was going to be a low shot.
So once again, a 2-goal advantage for the Blue Jays as Constantinides went early. Go down as another win here for Hopkins and another offensive possession, looking for their first 3-goal lead of the day.
This has been a back-and-forth contest. We haven't seen anyone really try to establish themselves on a little bit of a run. It's been back and forth, so we'll see if Hopkins has that opportunity.
Coming out of the box, here's Angeles. You've not said Connor DeSimone's name a whole lot today. Coming off a 3-goal performance in the opener. 4 points against Jacksonville. He's been covered by Kobe Smith, the All-American defender for Towson, so that may be a contributing factor. Here's Degnan. Nice move. Gets it hands free. Another save by Brennan, but it'll reset the shot clock to 60.
Yeah, it's no surprise that DeSimone's been quiet with Kobe Smith on him, but we mentioned this is a Hopkins team that's so deep. They had 8 different goal scorers against Jacksonville. They've got a lot of guys that can put the ball in the back of the net. So you can shut down one guy. You might be able to shut down 2, but you can't shut everybody down.
Epstein again. A first-half hat trick for Joey Epstein. It's 7-4.
And you've seen Joey Epstein's 3 goals all be in different ways. The last one he had, he came out from behind X, and he wrapped that around goal. This time he comes from up top, and he shoots that laser against John Brennan. We mentioned that he can just score in a variety of ways. Look at all this room that Joey Epstein has to shoot, and there's no chance that Brennan was going to get to that one. Joey Epstein is such an accomplished goal scorer. That one is just another one in his arsenal that he can do. He can score close, deep, wrap around the cage, on the run, dodging, always.
Epstein, a guy who actually got his first career collegiate goal against this Tigers program back in 2019 in his freshman season. Actually came right here at Johnny Unitas Stadium. So he's got some pleasant memories here as a faceoff is won by the Tigers. You get the feeling that was a faceoff they desperately needed to win.
Yeah, you don't want to let this get out of hand here early in the second quarter because they played such a good first quarter, despite the fact that they were getting dominated at the faceoff. Actually, see, Dunn was 9 of 12 before this last faceoff, and that's tough to overcome. It's hard to stay close when you have that much of a discrepancy in faceoffs.
There's a trail check that causes a turnover. Back come the Blue Jays. I think Scott Smith was in there to help out on the defensive end. Early shot, another save by Brennan. I tell you what, he's been on point here early on.
Yeah, I mean, you look at 7 goals by Hopkins and you might think, oh, well, the goaltender's struggling tonight. No, Brennan has played really well. He has just faced a lot of really quality shots.
Now 8 saves for Shane Brennan in this first half as we have a whistle and it's a turnover going back the other way.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, Kirsten had 8 saves in the entire game for Hopkins against Jacksonville in 60 minutes. Brennan's already got 8 saves, and we've played, what, 18 minutes?
Yeah. do think here it's got to be interesting for Sean Nadelin. This is the end of the field, the defensive end, that he probably felt a little bit more comfortable in terms of production because of all the continuity they have coming back. But here it's been Hopkins who's had a lot of success against this Tigers defense early on.
Yeah, and you've seen, as we mentioned, John Hopkins, with them already having a game under their belt, they've already been able to work out a couple kinks where Towson hasn't had a chance to do that because this is their first game of the season. And that does make a difference. It might not seem like a big deal, only one game, but getting that one game, you can get some jitters out, you can get some bugs out, you can fix some things, you can see things on tape where it's just not the same when you're playing exhibition games. I mean, Towson had opportunities against Lehigh, Bucknell, and York to play exhibitions, but you just can't totally replicate the game experience in those exhibitions.
Here's Grimes on the wing. Another zone look for the Tigers. Epstein again, shot wide. Did not get a part of the cage, so 11 seconds, no reset. Blue Jays got to go quickly here as they're going to make DeSimone come a little bit further back to the corner. Under 10 on the shot clock. DeSimone gets it to Epstein. Another shot from the wing and another goal. It is Joey Epstein's first half. He's got 4 of the 8 for Hopkins and a 4-goal advantage.
Epstein is just feeling it tonight for Hopkins, and they're going to continue to feed the hot hand. And again, we talked about scoring in a variety of ways. You see DeSimone coming out from X. You see the shorty giving way too much room for Joey Epstein. He was ready to, he had that shot loaded up before the ball even came to him. And it was a quick opportunity, get him the pass. He's already got his arms cocked. He's ready to roll. Defense had no chance because they're playing off of him too close. They're really going to have to start thinking about face guarding Epstein if they want to slow him down tonight, because any space you give him, he's firing.
Well, I think the question then becomes, do you put Kobe Smith on Epstein and then take your chances with Connor DeSimone with somebody else guarding him? Because that has been the strategy so far for the Tigers. They've had Smith on DeSimone after DeSimone went off for 4 points in the opener. Zingalia continues to guard Epstein there on the wing.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting move by Nadelin and the defensive coaching staff to see what exactly they want to do, because you only have one Kobe Smith, and yes, you can shut down DeSimone, but not at the expense of Joey Epstein going off.
Look out, DeSimone, the short stick matchup. Quick help, and it's Regan McNamara who comes over and causes the turnover.
McNamara's had a nice second quarter. He's the one that tipped that pass down low that Epstein had. Otherwise, Epstein would have 5 goals right now. And for Towson right now, you got to have a good possession. First, you got to take some time off the clock. You got to let your defense get a little bit of a blow right here. And then you got to get a quality shot opportunity, because now you really dug yourself into a little bit of a hole. And again, we don't want to harp on the faceoffs, but if you're not going to win a lot of faceoffs, you can't afford to give up too many empty possessions.
Here's the sophomore Chop Gallagher out of Oregon. Started the first 2 games of his collegiate career last year and then missed the rest of the season due to injury. Now back for his sophomore year, and he's been switched to the midfield from attack. Takes his man behind. He's got the short stick matchup. And another turnover. Avanzado lost his stick.
Well, it wasn't the best of passes, and I think Avanzado actually threw his stick at the ball to hope to stop it, because it just wasn't a clean pass.
And so the Tigers want to talk things over. A timeout here on the field will take it as well. 9 minutes to go here in the first half. Hopkins with a 4-goal edge. It has been the Joey Epstein show here in the first half. How about this first goal here for Joey? Takes the shot, and it's almost like it woke up the beast, because Epstein has been on a roll. There was his second. In total, he's got 4 goals. He's done it in a variety of ways, Brendan. He is putting on a show, the former top overall recruit out of high school.
He absolutely is. We talked about he came in with 27 multi-point games and 35 career opportunities for Johns Hopkins. And it all started with that big one in the first quarter where he took a hit, got back up, took a shot, got a hit again. and scored. He's really feeling it after he was held scoreless against Jacksonville.
And so it's Hopkins' ball after the turnover leading to the Tigers' timeout, and they get it across the midline.
And Hopkins has outshot Towson so far 22-6.
And it's been reflected in the goalie numbers. Brennan, 8 goals against, 8 saves. Curson has given up 4, has only made 1 other save. Here's Ryan Evans, who gets it over to Peshko. Gets the hands free, shot well wide. Here's DeSimone working at X. Continues to be guarded by the All-American candidate, Kobe Smith. 2 of them both named to the Tewaaraton watch list just yesterday. Initial lists by the Tewaaraton Foundation.
You don't often see long poles get themselves on that list, and if you got a long pole on that list, you know you're pretty darn special.
Kobe Smith, the guy who's just run the gamut in terms of top offensive players that he's defended throughout his Tigers career. Here's Epstein. Somehow kept that one in his stick for a second. Now it's Grimes, 2 to shoot. Hopkins gets it off and a score. It's Epstein again. He's got 5.
Just an absolutely amazing performance by Epstein here in the first half. And by the way, the last Hopkins player to score 5 goals or more was Joey Epstein last year at Michigan, where he had 7 goals in that game. And this is similar to his 3rd goal, where he's up top. He's about 12 yards away from the goal. The shorty is playing off of him, gives him room to shoot. I'm not sure at this point why they're giving him so much room to shoot and operate. They know he's a catch and shoot type of guy, and that's how he scored the last 4 goals is by a catch, or excuse me, last 3 goals is just a simple catch and shoot. They've got to get up on him.
And another face-off win by Tyler Dunn. He has been dominant so far today. And the Blue Jays will take a timeout. We'll keep it here as they wanted to preserve that possession. Brendan, I think the interesting thing for Hopkins here, and it's got to feel like a really good luxury for Pete Milliman at the faceoff X, is Tyler Dunn, who won 11 of 18, 61% in the opener, came into this season maybe not as the guy you thought might be the full-time guy, because Matt Naruski had a nice season last year. He had surgery in the fall. He's not quite ready yet to return, so you get Naruski back at the X, and you have Tyler Dunn, the sophomore who's had a terrific start to the season. You've got quite the dynamic duo there that you can roll out at the faceoff spot.
Yeah, it's a great problem to have. Too many faceoff guys is a coach's dream to have, because you figure when you look at the history of college lacrosse and you get a dominant faceoff guy, you continue to ride him, and sometimes it's tough even to get just one good one. But I'm a good friend of mine, Bill Lombardi, was faceoff guy at Penn State. He always talks about really like just getting in that rhythm and getting that feel for it. And right now, Dunn is getting in this rhythm, and he got in that rhythm against Jacksonville, and he's created so many extra possessions for Hopkins right here. And this is why you see that 5-goal lead. And unless Towson can figure out how to slow him down, it's going to get more lopsided. And you said when Naruski comes back, you're going to continue to play the hot hand. And the best part about it is if a guy loses a couple in a row, you've got a stud coming off the bench to come in and give you a change of pace.
So another opportunity here for this Blue Jays offense. Up by 5. This is a 5-4 game after 1. A 4-0 run to start the second quarter for the Blue Jays. Now Shane Brennan has done his part. 8 saves so far. Some of these have been just a lot to ask of the starting goalie here for the Tigers. And there's another. No way. A 6-pack from Epstein in the first half.
It's just simply amazing what Epstein is doing in this first half. 6 goals already. And we mentioned he had 6 goals against Penn State last year, so he's not adverse to getting all these. But look at all that space right there. Look at all that space. How are you leaving a guy that has 5 goals in the first half that wide open? You've got to be smarter defensively. You have to know where number 32 is at all times. And he's done that now 4 times in a row, a simple catch and shoot, because Towson refuses to play up on him.
Epstein's career high is 7 goals, by the way, as we've got a flag down and maybe a break for the Tigers coming, as finally they'll get an opportunity here on the man up to try to quiet the Blue Jays. A dominant second quarter here from Hopkins.
Yeah, and it's all been led by Joey Epstein so far. And you mentioned that he had 7 goals. That was against Penn State when they were number 1 a couple years ago. But he had 6 against Michigan last year, and he's having one of the all-time great performances for Johns Hopkins. And we're still only a quarter and a half into this game.
Joey Epstein has done much better than the natural hat trick. He's on his way to a natural sock trick. He has 5 consecutive goals here for Hopkins to start the second quarter.
Yeah, just simply amazing.
I'm not sure
what he's doing right now.
I'm not sure even in the NLL if we've seen a natural sock trick.
If it has, it's been a long time.
If it has, very well may have been his offensive coordinator, John Grant Jr., there for Hopkins that may have accomplished it.
Yeah, if anybody would have done it either in the MLL or in the NLL, it would have been Junior.
So man up for the first time today for the Tigers. Swain shot stopped by Curson, his second stop of the day.
That was a nice play by Towson. They were looking at that in their last man up, trying to get that guy sneaking right into the teeth of the defense to get the shot off. Swain got a nice look at the cage, but Kierson made a good save.
This is Brandon Shore trying to clear. He draws a penalty. They will get Chop Gallagher, the sophomore midfielder, on the push from behind. So another 30-second penalty, but this time it'll be Hopkins man up.
Hopkins 0 for 2 on the man up so far. They've actually given up a shorthanded goal. That's where Towson had some of their success in the first quarter. But right now, if you're Towson, you cannot let Joey Epstein get the ball in this possession.
I mean, is there anywhere else if you're Hopkins that you go? And just keep feeding the hot hand. He's like Steph Curry out there.
Yeah, you keep feeding him until they stop him. I mean, he's got 6 goals on 11 shots, I think is what it is. And for the first 4 of those misses were early on. So, I mean, he's really been on his game here of late.
Here he is again. Finally missed another one. I tell you what.
I mean, just barely over the crossbar.
That net has to look like he's shooting into an ocean for him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you're a shooter and you get into a zone, like, it is hard to be stopped. Like, look at all the space they're giving him right now.
Backside pass. Oh, that's gorgeous. DeSimone feeds Grimes on the doorstep. And it is a 10-4 Hopkins, 11-4 Hopkins lead.
And that all started with Epstein, too, because Epstein had the opportunity to shoot right there, and he chose to send the ball down to DeSimone. Watch this. When they get over to Epstein, look at all this room he has. Instead, he puts it down to DeSimone, who gets it to Grimes for the much higher percentage shot. That's a smart play by Epstein. He knew that he was the hot hand, but he saw that they had an opportunity for a higher percentage shot, and he got the ball to the right spot, and it eventually went to Grimes for the goal. That's unselfish lacrosse right there.
And so what was once a 5-4 Hopkins lead has now ballooned to 11-4, a 6-0 run to start this second quarter. And with 5:40 to go, the Tigers need a stop to try to get this offense an opportunity. They just haven't had the ball much in the second.
No, and this Towson defense has to be really gassed. I mean, they've played a lot, and there's so much movement within this Hopkins offense. There's a lot of slides. There's a lot of shifting going on defensively. And Hopkins has dominated the time of possession so much that right now they're full speed ahead. Like, they're fully on the gas pedal at this point.
Raposo. Now Grimes sends it behind here to Epstein. And a turnover for the Blue Jays. One of the few things they haven't done well in this second quarter right there.
Yeah, just trying to send it down to Raposo, and it didn't look like it was a hard pass, and just a little bit out of the reach, and it's a turnover for Towson. So like we said a little bit earlier, Towson now, you've got to take some time off. Well, now you're going to turn the ball over. No, they might have got a timeout.
No,
No,
they
they
turned it
didn't.
over.
They
The
didn't.
ball was trapped there underneath the stick, and so that's a sloppy pass through the substitution box where Ryan Swain was kind of held out there to dry by his teammate because he's trying to come on with all the traffic coming on and off for the Hopkins side as well, and created an issue and a turnover. And so once again, Blue Jays ball.
Yeah, you can ill afford to lose the possession that quick.
Epstein stopped by Brennan.
That was a nice save by Brennan because Epstein had the ball right on the doorstep and had a really quality look. And so now Towson have another opportunity to get over. And now what they've got to do is they've got to slow the pace of their offense down. And you think that might be crazy down by 7, but they've got to let their defense just get a breather here for a little bit of time. And so you look for Towson to milk some time off of this shot clock, only for the fact that they need to give their defense a break and then get into their offense.
Here's Andrew Milani up top, Berkeley. Looking for somebody there on the backside now. Gets the hands free and a bounce shot goes. Number 2 for Kyle Berkeley here today, and it quiets the run.
And this, again, it gives a couple extra seconds now for the defense to get a breather on the goal. And Berkeley right there backs down his defender, is patient. Take a look at this. Tries to go to the right side, gets a look, goes low opposite side of the foot of the goalie. But the thing is he backed his defender down and was patient and waited for an opportunity, waited to see how his defender was going to play him before he decided what move he was going to do.
That's Shane Santora at the face-off axe for the Tigers, as we have another time out here for Hopkins to preserve the possession. And I tell you what, Dunn continues to be successful at the X. Blue Jays will keep possession here with a 6-goal lead and 3:12 to go. This is the start of a very big weekend here for Hopkins, Brendan. Not only do they play here on Friday night against the Tigers, but then they go to number 4 Georgetown on Sunday afternoon. Talk about a big-time weekend, only to then take on number 8 Loyola and then North Carolina, Virginia, Syracuse. So 2 games in 3 days, and then the schedule does not get any easier for Hopkins.
It absolutely doesn't. We talked to Pete Milliman yesterday, and I asked him, I said, hey, what about these 2 games in 3 days? You've got Towson and then Georgetown. And he flat out said, we got to play 1 game on Friday. We'll worry about the next one after that. He goes, it's a 1-game week right now. And he was pretty abrupt about it. And he's got his team laser focused on it, you can see. But you look down that schedule, number 4 Georgetown, number 8 Loyola. They've got ranked teams all after that. They've got North Carolina, who's number 14, number 1 Virginia on March 5th, number 13 Syracuse, Navy, who's not ranked, then Delaware, who's 19th, Michigan, who's 13th, Rutgers, who's 9th, Ohio State, who's receiving votes, Penn State, who's receiving votes, Maryland, who's number 3. There's only 2 games on this entire schedule of teams that aren't ranked and receiving votes.
Yeah, it is maybe the most difficult schedule in the country here for Pete Milliman. So he's going to put his team through the ringer. But that is what the tradition of this Hopkins program is. Hey, we want to play the best and we want to beat the best.
Yeah, that's how you get better. Is you play the best teams in the country. And you've seen the scheduling. Towson's done the same thing. Towson's got 10 ranked teams on their schedule. You play the best and you get battle tested. So when you go into the Big Ten tournament, if you're Hopkins, or the CAA if you're Towson, and you're ready to roll in those tournaments and get the automatic bid into the NCAA tournament and then compete for a national championship.
There's Degnan, already has a couple. By the way, the 2 games in 3 days here this weekend. First time since 2014. In April of 2014, Hopkins did it playing Maryland and Mount St. Mary's. They actually did win both of those games, by the way. So maybe a little semblance of something for the Blue Jays to look forward to. You win here today, you go knock off Georgetown. That'd be a heck of a way to start 3-0. Another save here from Brennan, and is this a push or a crease violation? Oh, they'll give him the push, and so it stays here with the Blue Jays.
I was going to say, I had the opportunity to do Georgetown-Denver last year in Georgetown, and that's just a great program. The Hoyas have just really built it up. They're strong everywhere on the field. Offense, defense, face-off X goaltending. They're coming in number 4. That's a team that's ready to burst onto the scene. They're one of those teams that has just really, like, over the last 5 years, just really come up and just built something special there over the nation's capital.
Yeah, a team that, crazy enough, after the success they had last year, may have only gotten stronger as they enter this season. DeSimone with a jump fake. Final 2 minutes of this first half. Degnan picks up the pull. Here's Jack Keogh. Had a big first game. Feeds. Down on the doorstep, DeSimone has his first goal of the day, and the big second quarter continues for the Jays.
And as soon as Kobe Smith was off of DeSimone, they immediately found him and got him a shot opportunity. And that's what what we talked about. I mean, Kobe Smith can't cover everybody, and they move around. And you see Kobe Smith there, back working on DeSimone. Kobe Smith has to come up to the slide. Nobody replaces Kobe Smith and slides over, gives DeSimone a wide open look for the goal.
And so the Jays in this first half have already scored more goals than they did in the opener, the 11-8 win over Jacksonville. As there's Santora, the other face-off guy here for the Tigers, the redshirt sophomore from New York, who wins the face-off and a timeout for Sean Nadelin and Towson to preserve the possession with 1:36 to go in this first half.
Yeah, you take this time out for a couple of reasons. One, get your team settled down. Okay, we've got the offensive possession. Let's get into our offense. Let's work the ball around and let's get a good shot. And the second thing you're saying, let's get there's not saying this to his team, but what he's looking for, let's get a little momentum going into halftime. We're down by 7 right now. If we can get a goal down right here, we go down by 6. We got something to work forward to. So it's a good timeout to take. You can't take these timeouts with you, and go in and see what you can do before halftime.
You know, you look at this series history, and it is awesome to have this series back this year. We mentioned in the Open last year, the first time since the series started in 1976 that the two teams did not meet in the regular season. This is obviously a terrific rivalry in Greater Baltimore, a terrific crowd on a Friday night. I mean, you couldn't ask. The weather is fantastic. You couldn't ask for a better setting for this rivalry to return as we kind of return to a normal college lacrosse season here in 2022. And despite the fact that Hopkins is taking the early advantage here by 7, it is just so good to have this rivalry here back in Greater Baltimore.
Absolutely, at so many levels. We talked about how close these schools are. The two coaches, Sean Nadelin and Peter Milliman, they both grew up in Rochester. They're about a year apart from each other. They played against each other. They worked out with each other during the offseason. They know similar people. And both of them were really big proponents of making sure that this rivalry was good and strong because they understand how important it is for both schools.
That one rings off the pipe. It'll reset the shot clock to 60. Minute 21 to go in the half. This is Milani. He had hit the pipe there a second ago. Now Avanzato behind as an assist tonight. Tried a jump shot. Instead, he feeds Milani. Backhand finish. Nifty way to get back on the score sheet. Second of the night for Milani.
That's not the play that they scripted up, but it doesn't matter because the ball goes in the back of the net. So they get the result that they wanted to by the goal. Coming out from behind X, gets handcuffed. Looked like that was a shot, and it was just picked up by Milani, which ended up working out better because it ended up being a better pass than a shot.
James Avanzato will go to his grave that was a pass. However, most of us know that he was most likely trying to find that far post.
Absolutely. I used to play attack back in the old days, and when I had a terrible shot like that, I'd say, absolutely, that was a pass. Of course it was.
Quick face-off win for Dunn. He's going right down the alley, deflected by the Tigers. And here comes Kobe Smith.
This is a golden opportunity for Towson. If they can somehow find a way to get a goal here and get back-to-back goals in under 2 minutes and build themselves a little momentum going into halftime, that'd be absolutely huge.
They can hold for one here. The shot clock's still on, but essentially off here. It'll go past the time left here in the second quarter, but a turnover. No, it deflected by Hopkins. Stays here.
I agree with you. I thought it was a turnover. They lucked out there.
Avanzado nearly knocked down. I think we have a flag down. 20 seconds to go in the half. Berkeley, jump shot, saved by Curson. Now we will get the penalty.
And a couple extra seconds went off the clock. It should be 17 seconds on the clock. Let's see if they reset that, because that's going to make a big difference whether they have 17 seconds or 12 seconds here.
Also be interesting to see what the Tigers do with this penalty. Do they just hold on to it, or do they take some kind of run here in the final seconds of the first half?
See, I'm not getting paid to coach this game, so I want to be aggressive and I want to get a goal before halftime.
Is Bowden Zulik in the box there for Hopkins, a 1 minute slash.
So, but they're not putting any time on it, and Nadalin hasn't said anything about it, so maybe they might just be holding this ball here, because you don't want to waste that extra 5 seconds if they're not going to put it back on the clock. And you saw that Hopkins defense was really packed in, so this is an interesting call for Nadalin here late in the first half.
We have another whistle. I think they're still trying to sort out the clock situation here.
I do think there should be 17 seconds on the clock. At least 16 to 17 is when the initial whistle blew. Okay, they put 15.
They get 15, okay. So DeMeo thought about it. 2 goals in this first half for him, as they're still waiting for the clock to wind now. It's the first game of the season for everybody. Now we get it going. DeMeo will hold on to this ball, and so the Tigers will start the third quarter with a man-up situation and a possession, but it was a second quarter where Johns Hopkins got one heck of a performance from the former #1 overall recruit in the country, Joey Epstein. A 6-pack of goals in this first half, including a couple from distance for the Jays. They lead by 6 after 2. Got the second half coming up in a bit, but for now, it's halftime here on LSN. We welcome you back here to Johnny Unitas Stadium on a Friday night. Great crowd on hand, and they've been watching an absolute spectacular performance from Joey Epstein here in the first half. Travis Eldridge and Brendan McDaniels back with you here on LSN. Brendan, let's take a look at these highlights. And this is the one that kind of woke up the beast in Joey Epstein. Takes the hit, keeps the ball, goes 5-full, and then the show would continue. But early on, the Tigers would go back and forth. There's Nick DeMeo with his first goal in a Tigers uniform. They would get another here at a great feed across to DeMeo, but just too much Epstein in that second quarter, Brendan.
Yeah, I mean, he had 5 goals in the second quarter. Did it a different way. Gets a nice pick right there. Comes out from behind X. Wraps the ball around Brendan. Watch this. Gets the ball. Look at all that room. Well, that's his pass later on to Grimes, but he made 3 goals right there from that same spot on the field. And then finally, when they come out at him, he's able to drop that ball down and get an opportunity for another one of his teammates.
A 6-pack of goals for Epstein in the first half, including 5 in a row, and Hopkins leads 12-6 at the break. We will send you to a break. On the other side, we've got third quarter action here on Lax Sports Network. Just about set for the start of the third quarter here in Towson, Maryland, and it's the 19th ranked Blue Jays with the 6-goal lead. But the Tigers will start with a possession here to start the third quarter. They had a penalty that has been carried over, so we'll see what Towson can do with a man-up opportunity to start. And Brendan, maybe the biggest thing is they don't have to take a face-off.
Yeah, they really, really struggled at the face-off X. In the first half, Towson was 6 of 20 in that first half, and it was actually a little bit worse than that. They got some fortunate bounces to go their way after an initial win by Hopkins. So they have the ball on the man up here. They've got a little bit of time to work with, but they've really got to figure that out in this game if they want to try to inch their way back. I mean, 6 goals, it looks like a big lead, but it's not insurmountable. They can make some opportunities, but it's going to start right here with a good, solid offensive possession.
There it is, man up goal, and it's right on the doorstep. Chop Gallagher with his first of the season. It's 12-7. By the way, Hopkins has switched goaltenders. Gib Versfeld has come in relief of Josh Kurson, so that goal coming against Versfeld, excuse me now.
So you're right, yeah, different goaltender in there, but this is the second time that we've seen Towson hit a backdoor. They had DeMeo in the first half on a backdoor just like that. So Versfeld, we'll take a look at him and see, is he, keep in mind, this is a Hopkins team that plays number 4 Georgetown in 48 hours. So let's see if some guys get some rest or if they have an opportunity to take a couple, fourth quarter off or something like that, depending on how this game goes.
Versfeld, a transfer from Division III Amherst, 6'4", 210 grad transfer. So look at it, new goalie after Kurson played in the first half. We talked to Pete Millman about the goaltending situation, and said, look, you've got a crowded room there. Some different guys that have seen time, whether it's here at Hopkins or other places. And he said, it's an ongoing competition. We want to play the best guy whenever that's happening. So maybe this is a great opportunity to get a look at a different face in goal.
Absolutely. And he played at Amherst, which you mentioned, which is a very strong D3 school.
And there's a really strong shot from Garrett Dagnan. And he's got a hat trick here.
Yeah, Dagnan had a really, really good first half for Hopkins. He had the first 2 of the game. You see him get one right here. We'll take a look at it again. He's got that short stick matchup, and he's got his hands free the whole time. And he sees that the defense is kind of drifting away from him, so he's got that alley to operate and to take that shot. And to get back to the goaltender we mentioned, that Versfeld come from Amherst. He played some really good class. He played high-level Division III lacrosse. So don't think that just because he came from a D3 school that he's not ready to roll here at Hopkins.
That's a tough break for Hopkins off the faceoff because that was won by Dunn, but he just kicked it forward. And now it's the Tigers who have a chance to clear.
And we saw that a couple times in the first half where it looked like Dunn won it initially, but just in the scrum, the Wings came in and were able to get it for Towson.
So the two teams trading goals in the first minute of the second half. Still a 6-goal advantage for Hopkins. If you're just joining us, it was a 5-4 game after one. Tigers went back and forth with the Blue Jays until Joey Epstein caught fire with 5 straight goals to start that second quarter. That's really where Hopkins grew this lead. Here's Berkeley. Top of the box, jump shot. Sent wide, but a backup there by Avanzato. This is Milani. He's got a pair today. Redshirt sophomore. 25 points a year ago. Shot nearly took off the head of one of our officials, and the backup is won by Hopkins. Bowden Zulik got the stick out there.
Yeah, DeMeo it didn't come out of his stick cleanly. You saw it went well wide, and it looked like his follow through was just a little bit off on that one, and it didn't send it on net. But Towson had a couple opportunities on that possession, a little bit better than what we saw in the second quarter. But this is the important thing here, the transitions. Can they force a couple turnovers here?
And we got a trip coming.
Just a little bit too aggressive by Towson.
One of those that if the Hopkins guy didn't fall down, maybe you don't draw the flag, but as soon as the Blue Jays guy goes down and there's a scrum for that ball, your stick was in between the legs. You're going to get the flag down, and so another man-up opportunity for the Jays.
Yeah, these officials, they want to let these teams play, but if it comes out that way where a guy falls, you have to make that call.
Keep an eye on Epstein here on the near side wing. 1 goal from tying his career-high 7. Degnan, a one more pass off the pipe, resets the shot clock. Possession, man up opportunity continues. DeSimone thought about it. Degnan from long range. From nearly 15 yards out, a snipe. He's got 4.
Yeah, he had 2 in the first quarter and 2 here in the third quarter. All his goals are on this end of the field. And he was looking for it a little bit earlier in this possession. He had his arms cocked up and ready to go. This time he gets it in. See, the ball goes up top. They suck the defense in. Late to come over. You see that defender duck because he doesn't want to get his head knocked off.
Garrett
Degnan. Great job right there.
Yeah, I mean, he's another one of those guys you don't want to come up against. 6'4", 200. He is an imposing figure in the midfield for the Blue Jays, who win another faceoff. Scott Smith, picking up the ground ball.
Yeah, I mean, this Hopkins team, they've got some big bodies on their team who can go in and be physical, a lot like their offensive coordinator, John Grant. They're not afraid to go in there and get physical if they have to. And Degman's one of those nice big body guys for this Hopkins team.
By the way, shout out to Scott Smith, a native of Berwyn, Pennsylvania. It's where I grew up, went to Conestoga High School. I played basketball growing up with his older brother, Ben. As that one is picked up in the crease there, and we'll see if Brennan can get it going the other way.
This is what Hopkins has done a really good job of, is they've really limited the transition opportunities for Towson. Towson had a couple of transition opportunities in the first quarter, and they threw the ball away. But since then, Hopkins has done a really good job on the ride and did not let them get in the odd man situations.
Here's behind the cage, Avanzato. Seven-goal deficit, the largest this lead has been for Hopkins. Andrew Milani. Down the alley, a sidearm sling. He's got a hat trick.
Yeah, Milani's had a nice night for Towson. That's his third goal of the night. And he just takes this one down the right side, finds himself that opening, and is able to bury it. So you see him, he starts up top, comes over, he's able to get his hands free, reads the goaltender, sees where he is, and puts it right off of his hip.
Yeah, really solid placement from Milani. And an opportunity to face-off win for the Tigers. There it is, scooped up by Morin.
Yeah, Morin's been playing that wing the last couple of possessions. It looks like what they're trying to do is just, if they can get that ball out, let the wings come in and try to help them out. Reese Potter's also been playing on the wing. We haven't seen much of him so far tonight helping out, but that's Towson's new strategy, and it's worked so far in the third quarter.
Stewart, Reed, and Dukeman, midfielders, the second midfield unit for the Tigers. Dukeman, number 33 in white, another huge guy in the midfield. 6'5", 220 out of British Columbia, Canada. Here he is on the far wing. He is an imposing figure. Feed inside, deflected away. Nice move there by Versfeld.
Yeah, Towson coming in, and they're being aggressive on this ride to try to see if they can force a turnover.
Is Brett Martin who brings it across, and now Epstein and company will settle things down. On 6 minutes into this third quarter. And
that was a nice ride by Towson. They made it. They forced Hopkins to take 20 seconds off the clock before they got a touch in offensively.
Cameron Chevette, who got the started attack last week, number 17 in black for Hopkins. He's now in there. Sets the screen. Grimes loses it, and it's scooped up by Zingalia.
It's a nice trail check up top, and Towson's come up a little more aggressive offensively in the second half.
Also a little easier to be a little bit more sloppy with the ball if you're Hopkins when you've got a 6-7 goal edge. Out of the box, there's another. Kyle Berkeley's got 3 in his Towson debut.
Yeah, you just mentioned some of these big bodies out there. How about 6'4", 220-pound Kyle Berkeley? We've already talked about him. He's a transfer from Maryland, and he's had a couple nice goals here. Berkeley, right out of the box, gets the goal for Towson.
5-goal game all of a sudden. Here come the Tigers. So just like that, it's a 5-goal game here at Johnny Unitas Stadium. Travis Eldridge and Brendan McDaniel's back with you. Our CAA game of the week on LSN. Fun way to kick off the 2022 season. We were saying it before, but a terrific crowd on hand here at Johnny Unitas on a Friday night. Terrific weather, everything cooperating for us to kick off 2022.
Yeah, you couldn't ask for a better atmosphere for a Towson Hopkins game to start off our season here on Lax Sports Net.
And there's Constantinides, who they'd gone in and out from the freshman. Santora's taking a couple of draws here for the Tigers, but he wins a face-off. And a chance for the Tigers to claw a little bit closer.
So you got to do one by one, inch your way back. You can't get them all back at one time, but just have good, smart possessions every single time and give yourself a chance.
It's a midfield unit for Towson that's been really good. 7 of the 9 goals have come from midfielders, including 3 from Berkeley and 3 from Milani. Swain swings it over. Here's Milani again. Swain looking for his first of the year. Feed in front, quick stick and another. No, sorry.
Nope.
Found the side of the cage. They got me on the mom goal.
Yeah, look, it looked really nice. Great execution again, as Maurer had the opportunity on the backside. And we've seen many, many opportunities by Towson with that little backdoor pass across the crease.
Would have been a really big goal for the Tigers. Epstein took his eyes off of it for his second. Loose ball. Zingalia, who's taller maybe than everybody else, wins it. And DeMeo will smartly take his time. Big possessions for the Tigers here in the third. Still plenty of time.
Yeah, but you give a 6'7" guy a 6-foot pole, he can cover a lot of area with that thing.
Eric Zingalia is a large human being. A fake and a score. Number 4 for Berkeley, and it's a 4-goal game.
Berkeley is doing his best Epstein impression in this quarter, and he has taken over the scoring load for Towson here, pulling them within 4 and making this a game again. Take a look at it. This is the second time he's come out in the box, all the space, he fakes the shot, puts the ball in his left hand, back to his right, takes a little bit of a hit at the end, but he showed a shot at about 30 yards out and got himself another 20 yards in to get a higher percentage shot and another goal for Berkeley.
Face-off won by Dunn. Goes behind the back to his short stick, and Hopkins will get a possession. Good pressure here by Sam Morin. Trying to make things difficult. The Jays turn it over. There it is. Good pressure in the right.
Special teams is going to have to be the catalyst for this, and you saw it right there. Force the turnover before you get the offensive possession. Get the ball in your big guy, Kobe Smith's hands. Now let's see what Towson can do with it. Can they pull within 3 and really make it interesting here? Versfeld has faced 4 shots and given up 4 straight goals.
Remember, new goalie for Hopkins here in the third. Swain on the run off the pipe. Feed inside. Backhand by DeMeo is wide. Back up there to the Tigers.
DeMeo didn't square up his hips. If he had squared up his hips, that is an absolute goal.
Swain with the short stick. Matched up against Brandon Schur. Here's the hot hand, Berkeley. He gets a lot of attention. Swain left hand. Got a stick lodged in there. Still plenty of time on the shot clock for the Tigers.
Like what Towson's doing, put some pressure on the defense. Make Versfeld see some shots here.
Tough shot. There's a save by Versfeld. Rebound. Berkeley somehow came out with it, but now it's Brandon Shore, the grad student, who picks up the loose ball.
Yeah, Berkeley just wasn't able to hold on to that one, and it's a key break for Hopkins because Towson's starting to get into a rhythm offensively.
We have a whistle and a turnover by the Jays.
This is an opportunity to get out and run. The Towson will slow it down, then they'll go into their 6-on-6 offense. But these last couple of possessions, they've had some opportunities. They just haven't been able to finish them. This is much more fluid offense that we've seen from Towson here in the second half.
Remember, this is a Tigers team that had success in the first quarter offensively. They just didn't have the ball a lot in the second.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of time of possession for Towson in that first half, particularly the second quarter.
Dukeman feeds, stopped inside, rebound. Tigers have a chance, ball's loose, and it's picked up by Dukeman. That reset the shot clock to 60, so a fresh 60 seconds here for the Tigers. Avanzado working from behind on the wing, shot sent wide.
You see, as we mentioned this last possession, Towson putting some pressure on, getting some shots off, really forcing this Hopkins defense to move around and play very intense defense.
This is Alex Reed. Been filtering in on that second midfield line. Now to Mayo from the wing, tries to get the hands free. It might have had his stick deflected. 14 left on the shot clock.
Yeah, looked like he got his stick lifted from behind and lost possession of that pass.
Still an opportunity here. Gallagher. Wing shot high. And you may have to send this one to the corner. That's exactly what Bodie Maurer will do. Shot clock violation on Towson. Good stand by Hopkins.
Yeah, I mean, Hopkins really weathered the storm right there because there's these last two possessions for Towson. They've really pressured this Hopkins defense, and Towson came up at 0 for 2 on those last two possessions.
It was something that Peter Milliman was pretty happy with in the opener against Jacksonville. That settled 6-on-6 defense felt like that was pretty strong. It was the transition game that gave the Dolphins a handful of goals there in the middle part of that game that made things interesting. Here's Degnan just taking on all comers.
Yeah, he's not afraid to be physical out there. We mentioned that, you know, he's one of those bigger guys out there. He's got a football build out there, so he can take some hits and he can deliver some as well.
Degnan with 4 goals today. That is a new career high for the senior from Maryland. On the run, Angelis held on to it for a little too long, and it's turned over. Here's Kobe Smith having some trouble with it, but then scoops it up.
Yeah, there's just too much space in that Towson defense, and Towson's really fortunate that they didn't give up a goal there.
Final couple minutes of this third quarter. Can the Tigers claw their way back even closer? Trailed by 7 at one point. DeMeo bounce shot high.
Yeah, just bounced that a little bit too early. Needed to put about 2 more yards on that pass before it was a really good bounce shot off the carpet.
Swain has just not been able to find much space. Milani has already 3 goals today. Pass too high. Can they keep it over? They do. Still 30 seconds on the shot clock for Berkeley. Wants to go one-on-one. Berkeley He's feeling pretty good with a 4-goal effort so far.
Yeah, he really wants it. That wasn't the best of shots, though.
That was a heat check.
He's got the hot hand, so Nadeline and crew, they won't mind him taking shots like that, though.
Swain with the left. That hit the pipe. And so that will reset the shot clock to 60. So it was down close to 10, and now they get a fresh 60 if they can keep control of the ball. Still loose. Great check. DeMeo with it. He's dragged down.
Yeah, we'll get a hold here.
DeMeo may be looking for a flag down. There is no flag, but it'll stay Tigers' ball.
Yeah, they'll keep the ball. They'll get a fresh 60. There's only 55 seconds on the clock here in the third quarter, and you're down 6 at halftime. You're down 4 right now. You get another goal here. You've cut that deficit in half in the third quarter. It gives you a chance for the fourth quarter, and now they do call the penalty, so Towson will have the man up.
This is a really good chance for the Tigers, and they want to get back in this game. You score here, start to get interesting. Milani beats his man, skips it back across, and it finds the back of the net. There's Ryan Swain's first. It's a 3-goal game.
It's a big, big goal. We just talked about it. Now you've cut the halftime deficit in half from 6 down to 3, and Swain gets himself on the board in the man-up situation. Take a look at it from the other side. Milani draws a double team. They look backside to Swain. All that real estate in front of him to shoot. And Versfield now has given up 5 goals on 7 shots.
So 14-11, 42 seconds left. Constantinides wins the faceoff, loses the ball. Hopkins with it. Can they keep it alive? It's still loose, and there's Kobe Smith. Finally scooped up by the Jays, and they get the possession. 26 seconds to go in the quarter. Ball on the carpet again. Grimes can't pick it up. We got a huge scrum. We've got a push. And it's going the Tigers' way. They got to go quickly, though. Potter.
Going too slow. He's got to move.
DeMeo push behind. Can he get his shot off? Beats his man. DeMeo with the hat trick goal. It's a 2-goal game.
That is absolutely huge right there by Nick DeMeo. I thought Potter was going too slow. He got it to DeMeo. DeMeo bodied his way in. Take a look at this again. Here's Potter. Look at this. Using his body. Stays in control. Gets the spin. Nice swim dodge right there. Beautiful. Wow. Travis, we got ourselves a game right now.
Nick DeMeo goes one-man show with time winding down. 5 straight goals for the Tigers. One more heave here for Hopkins. And we've got ourselves a fourth quarter coming up, folks. If you thought this game was over, you would be incorrect. A 7-goal lead for Hopkins has been shrunk to 2. Thanks to Kyle Berkeley. He's got 4. 14-12 as we enter the fourth. So we get ready to start the fourth quarter, and the story of this is Josh Curson, the starter here for Hopkins, made a couple of saves in the first half. Wasn't asked to do a whole lot. 4 saves, 6 goals against. He was pulled. The third quarter, the Tigers offense wakes up when they switch the goalie here to Versfeld, and Gib Versfeld has now given up 6 goals in 1 quarter. He's got just 2 saves as Hopkins wins the opening draw to start this final frame. And all of a sudden, the Tigers, who trailed by 7 at one point in the third quarter, are now only down by 2.
And Towson really dominated time of possession. They got a lot of shots off in that quarter. I mean, they're only 8 shots on goal, but they had a lot of shots. I mean, they were really making Versfeld and that defense really work for everything in that third quarter. And now they turned a 7-goal deficit into only a 2-goal deficit.
Keogh sends it high. Angeles has to retreat, but he keeps it alive. Still 30 on the shot clock. Epstein, haven't said his name at all. Scored 6 first-half goals. He's been quiet since. Dagnan sends it out of bounds.
And that's what you need if you're Towson. If you want to get in this game, just every time you get a turnover, now you got to take advantage because they're still struggling at the faceoff. They're a little bit better in the third quarter, but Hopkins has still been very dominant.
Another possible turnover here. Somehow Jordan Hayes almost kept that alive, but it's picked up by Smith.
Yeah, Hayes put his hand on it, then realized, oh, they didn't see that, so I better get my hand off of this thing.
He was doing anything he could to make sure that Hopkins wasn't going to go back quickly the other way. All the momentum shifting toward the Tigers. They closed that third quarter on a 5-0 run. Remember, last 7 times these two programs have met, it's been the home team that has won. Tigers trying to keep that streak alive. They need more of a comeback here. Here's DeSimone. Just 1 goal so far today. Angeles working from X, wraps around and finds the back of the net. Second of the day.
Huge goal. Absolutely huge goal for Angeles there, Travis. As we talked about all the momentum in the favor of Towson. You mentioned just a moment ago, Towson on a 5-0 run. You got to stop the bleeding. Angeles comes in there, comes from behind X. You see, gets Towson caught in a switch. He's able, look where he squeezes that ball in. That's a hard shot to get in the back of the net.
Yeah, it goes near side pipe. Brennan thinking he may go up top, try to beat him up high. And so it stops the Tigers' run. Blue Jays back up by 3. Got to give a lot of credit to Konstantinides, the freshman faceoff man. He keeps fighting after really struggling in the first half, and the Tigers win it.
Yeah, he's been much better here in the second half. It was such a discrepancy in the first half, and just had to get his bearings under him in that first quarter. And you see Potter that wing, and that Sean Adelman mentioned that to us yesterday. He said, listen, my wing guys have got to be involved in the faceoff if we're going to win some. And he mentioned Potter specifically, said that's our best wing guy. He has to help us out, and he has, particularly in the second half.
Swain up top to Milani. Now on the wing to Berkeley. He's had a big day. 4 goals for Kyle Berkeley in his Towson debut, the transfer from Maryland. Swain, see anything he liked. Now we'll give it a try. Draws the pull.
Yeah, he's quickly drawn a double team. Every time he looks toward the goal, they've really keyed on Swain and not allowing him to get anywhere near the cage.
Now 10 seconds on the shot clock. Dukeman spins. Berkeley thought about it. They got to get something off. They didn't realize the shot clock, and they won't get it off. That won't count.
Nope. Just a second too late on that one. That's a tough one for Towson because they really could have used that.
DeMeo was hoping for his 4th. Instead, didn't get it off in time. It's got to be out of the stick prior to the shot clock expiring.
Yeah, that was a good call by the officials. They were right on it. They immediately called the shot clock violation before that shot was off.
I don't know if there's anybody on Peshko here. They were late. Colby Bars finally picked him up. Epstein has his step on Zingalia. Cross crease pass. DeSimone couldn't put it home.
We've seen Towson complete that play a couple times in this game. Now, Hopkins had the opportunity and could not convert.
He had a DeSimone to Grimes similar look earlier today that they cashed in on. DeSimone just couldn't get that quick stick to go. Shot clock winding down for the Jays, too. We're down to 10. They go behind. Quick in front, little wide. Now 5. Hopkins just going to put that out of bounds. That was smart. You stop any type of transition that the Tigers could have gotten.
Yeah, Hopkins plays really heads-up lacrosse like that. We saw them do that again a little bit earlier in the game to make sure that Towson didn't get an opportunity to clear it real quickly and have an odd man situation.
Chop Gallagher with it on the wing, the sophomore out of Oregon. Playing just his 3rd game in a Tigers uniform. Started the first 2 games of his career before a season-ending injury last year. Coming out of the midfield here to start 2022. Now Reed, he'll go for a long run. Bauer, and the pass a little low for Stewart, couldn't handle it. Here come the Jays. Owen McManus. And they're going to take their time. That's smart.
No, that's smart. They didn't have anything there. They brought it down. They didn't have anything. They did not force it. That's a really smart play by this Hopkins team because they realize we don't need to force it.
Blue Jays trying to get to 2-0. It would be the first time since 2017 that they started the season with back-to-back wins. DeSimone. Now Angelis. That shot wide. Didn't hit anything, so no reset of the shot clock, but it stays Blue Jays ball. The hot hand of Epstein is cooled off here in the 3rd and 4th. Still sitting at those 6 goals. Has it now. Looking for somebody. He's got Zingalia hung up. He finds his man. The quick stick deflects in. I don't even know if that hit into the actual cross of DeSimone, but it deflects in past Brennan. Back-to-back goals for Hopkins to start the 4th.
Yeah, that was the quickest of quick sticks. Epstein.
Oh, and his helmet.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Grimes.
That was off of McNamara, it looked like. So Grimes will get credit for the goal. But yeah, that went off the helmet of Reagan McNamara.
Wow, that's just unlucky.
That's a tough break. And then here, Hopkins wins the faceoff.
So the Blue Jays had watched that lead dwindle down to 2 and beat Millman, sending a message entering this 4th quarter as we've got a whistle around midfield, and that'll go the other way. The Blue Jays have come out in a big way. DeMayo trying to get a quick shot. And, you know, you have to say this Hopkins defense, after a couple of goals there in the 3rd, they have really settled in the 6-on-6. It's been a lot tougher for the Tigers. They went on that run for a bit in the 3rd quarter, but the last couple of possessions of the 3rd and now to start the 4th, they have really locked in.
Yeah, and Hopkins has done a good job of not letting a quality shot on goal. You see, Towson is taking a lot of shots, but they're not getting them on goal. They're going wide. They're going high. They're not letting them get shots on the cage against their goaltender.
Here's Nick DeMayo. Berkeley had it deflected and it's scooped up. Owen McManus, Johnny on the spot.
Another solid defensive effort by Hopkins to not allow a shot on goal.
Time is on the Jays side here as we are under 6.5 to go. 4-goal advantage.
And this is exactly why you have a shot clock in lacrosse, because with a 4-goal lead, they could have easily just played keep away for 6 minutes and won this game. But now with a shot clock, you got to do something. You got to play offense. You got to play defense. You got to ride. You got to clear. Makes the game way more exciting.
Jonathan Peshko hit for his first goal today. Now Jackson Raposo. McDermott. Gonna take this shot clock down. Now under 15. Epstein back to work at X. Looking for number 7, shot wide, and that backup will be won by Brandon Hund and the Tigers.
So now if you're Towson, you need a quality shot here. You're running out of time because, again, with your struggles at the faceoff, actually, you got to maximize possessions.
Bowden Sulik took it away from Kobe Smith.
Costly turnover for Towson, because now you can take another minute plus off the clock and potentially put another goal on the board.
We ticked to under 5 minutes to go here at Johnny Unitas Stadium. It was a 5-4 Hopkins lead after 1. They closed that second quarter on a fantastic run. Joey Epstein with 6 goals in the first half. But a 6-2 third quarter got Towson back in it. Great move by Angeles, couldn't cash it in.
Had a really nice look at the cage and just sailed that one wide.
Jacob Angeles is really shifty as Grimes hits the pipe. You know, I think it's pretty interesting, the dynamic that Hopkins has in some of their midfielders. You got the guys like Peshko, 6'4", Degnan, 6'4", the big, powerful guys. Grimes, another 6'4" guy. And then you got the guys like Angeles and Keogh who can kind of dance through the defense. They have an interesting dynamic between those guys.
Yeah, you got a nice 1-2 punch there between guys that are physical and that guys that can get inside there and get a little craft. You see a bunch of guys lunge for that. You know we're closing into late game when everybody's lunging after balls.
Tigers dropping back into that zone defense. And we will get a timeout called here in the field with 4:13 to go in a 4-goal game. With Johns Hopkins closing in here on a win, they will be closing in even closer to a big-time milestone, currently sitting at 998 all-time wins in program history. Tonight would be 999, which means they would have a chance to become the first college lacrosse program to get 1,000 all-time wins coming up on Sunday against Georgetown.
Just simply amazing. If you look at that, you see Syracuse right behind them at number 2. They've got 74 more wins than Syracuse. And you talk about, you think of wins, you think you get 10, 12 wins a year. That's like 5-6 seasons ahead of the next team behind them.
Yeah, this is one of those lists that when you look at the order, outside of maybe Army and Navy and beyond, by the way, it's amazing that Army and Navy are within one all-time win of each other. It's just so perfect. But you look at the top of this list, and it doesn't seem like it's a list that's going to change anytime soon.
Absolutely not. I mean, you're talking about 3 really storied programs at the top and then 2 elite military academies. And you know, Johns Hopkins is synonymous with Division I lacrosse, and what an honor that's going to be when that 1,000th win hits. It's going to hit soon. It's coming quick.
Yeah, whether it's maybe Sunday, the week after that against Loyola, could be against Carolina, it's probably going to happen this year. They go pull the goalie here, does Towson.
So the goalie's out playing defense, so they've got the goalie out as the extra defender here.
They've got Luke Downs, another one of their goalies who has come in. He is out of the cage.
Yeah, he's the freshman, and they've got him. He's pretty athletic, so they're going to let him go out and play a little defense, but he's got to stay close to the goal.
Empty net, they missed it, and it's Tigers'
Turnover.
ball.
Pays off. I mean, that's a huge gamble by Sean Nadelin because you're down by 4.
Yeah, one more, the game's
But you
over.
need possessions. Yeah, you need a possession. So it's a calculated risk to play 6-on-7 right there and see if you can force a turnover like they did. But now the offense, they've got to convert because you're running out of time.
Berkeley taking his time as Tigers get the offensive personnel on the field. Swain, Milani joining him in this first midfield. It's a midfield that Sean Nadelin has to be pretty happy with in the production that they've gotten. Berkeley with 4, Milani with 3, Swain and Gallagher each with 1. Most of the production offensively has come from this group.
Yeah, they've done a nice job tonight. I mean, if Towson goes on and loses this game, I mean, you can look at the offense and say, listen, the offense played really well against a very, very strong defense.
Flag
comes
down
out.
as Avanzado's taken to the turf and a man up coming with 3 minutes to go.
Now, this is an absolute must score for Towson. Now, you're going to have the man up opportunity. They've got 1 goal on the man up. This is where you've got to get it in. You've got to get that opportunity and bury it. And 3 minutes is a lot of time. You don't have to rush this right now. You don't have to move at a fast pace. You're looking for efficiency at this point still because you still have the goal, the face-off. You have another opportunity to regain possession.
See if they get something quick. There's an opportunity, a save. Versfeld saw that one a little bit better.
Very big save for Versfeld.
Talk about a way to get battle tested now in a Hopkins uniform. The Amherst transfer comes in, gives up a bunch of goals as we got an empty net, and they've got the backup this time, so that's a little better shot for Hopkins.
Yeah, you can afford to take that shot there because you knew you had the backup right there.
An empty net.
McDermott got trail checked.
DeSimone tried to take that shot. He couldn't get it off.
Yeah, he had a wide open cage and a good look, but the trail check came in.
Brennan now back in for the Tigers. He's still out of the cage. They give it up, and that may just do it. And they throw in a flag for good measure. Keogh with his first of the night. 3rd goal of this season, and the lead is back up to 5 for Hopkins.
And that's going to do it. As Jack Keogh gets the goal. And Hopkins is going to come out of here with a win, but it got tight for a while here. And Keogh, you see, stepping in a goal was Bars. But I mean, you've got to, as we said, you've got to take that gamble if you're Towson because you got to get the ball back. But I mean, it's high risk, high reward. And the first time they were able to get the possession off the turnover, and this time they give up the goal. So it's a 5-goal game with 2:08 to play. But I mean, credit Towson. I mean, they dug themselves in a 7-goal hole, and they were able to get themselves out.
Jays will just hold on to this one with the man up here. 1 minute man up for the Jays.
Yeah, 2 flags came out, 1 before the goal, 1 after the goal. So they get the post-possession flag and the opportunity, and this is just going to about wrap it up here.
Reminder, we will have Towson right back here on LSN next weekend against yet another top 20 opponent. They play the defending champion Virginia Cavaliers here at Johnny Unitas Stadium next Saturday. We'll have that game 1 p.m. Eastern time. And we also have a terrific women's game for you coming up tomorrow. Number 2 North Carolina and number 12 James Madison battling in Harrisonburg. That one 1 p.m. Eastern time right here on LSN tomorrow. North Carolina, the women, maybe the most talented team lacrosse-wise of anybody in the country, quite frankly. They're just loaded.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, they're deep at every single position, and it's going to be a fun game. I like James Madison. They've got a good squad. They played pretty good last year, and their women's team has come along in the last few years. That should be a good contest. But, yeah, I mean, that Tar Heel team, wow. I mean, what depth do they have?
So the Tigers, this one just about in the books. They'll turn their attention to Mount St. Mary's coming up in a midweek game here before taking on #1 Virginia. We talked about the Hopkins schedule. The Tigers' schedule isn't easy either. They got Richmond, a team that will contend as one of the top teams in the SoCon. You also got to go to #8 Loyola. They got to go to Denver. They're playing Duke at a neutral site. The schedule before the CAA for the Tigers, as it typically is, will be certainly challenging.
Yeah, I mean, you add into stretch from March 19th to April 2nd, they got Duke, Denver, Drexel, and UMass. And Duke's #2, Denver's #12, Drexel 17, UMass receiving votes. And oh, by the way, they go to Delaware after that, who's 19th. I mean, that is a tough stretch of games. But you mentioned, I mean, they've got the Mount who's receiving votes, Virginia who's obviously #1, Richmond's receiving votes, Loyola's #10. I mean, Sean Nadal and Pete Milliman, they stacked their schedules this year with ranked opponents. Like these teams are going to be battle tested going into their conference tournaments.
And remember, this is a Towson team that has found ways to spoil big-time ranked teams their season the last couple of years. We saw them beat #1 Loyola, obviously a memorable midweek game here on LSN a couple of years ago. They beat Loyola last year, and we saw what the Greyhounds went on to do. So don't sleep on the Tigers. They a tough stretch here. Really, you could probably squeeze this down to a tough 10, 11-minute stretch in the second quarter. If not for that, this is probably a very different game.
Oh, yeah, with that little run that Epstein went on. I mean, outside of that, yeah, it was pretty close. And Towson just couldn't weather that storm in the second quarter. And, I mean, Epstein went off. I mean, he's been quiet in the second half. And it's going to end up that they didn't need him in the second half. He's going to have 6 goals, but I mean, that was just an elite run by the Hopkins offense in the second quarter.
Yeah, I mean, if you take away a couple of those goals, this is a much different game, and a lot of it came from starting at the face-off X. Tigers seem to figure that out a little bit more, so something to feel good about if you're Sean Nadelin's group, as they get ready for a busy week, midweek against Mount St. Mary's, and then right back here in a huge game, welcoming in #1 Virginia.
Yeah, these are two really good teams. I like what I saw from both teams at different times in this game.
We got a long pull goal. Why not?
I said we've had everything else. We might as well.
There's Scott Smith. That is the sophomore's first career goal. One that he will certainly remember, the former Under Armour All-American out of Conestoga High School. And Smith will put a cap on a victory for Hopkins.
This is a nice shot. He was wide open. Got it. He didn't even fake that. He just said, "You know what? I'm just gonna rip this one. Rip it."
So the Jays are going to start 2-0 for the first time since 2017. One more face-off to get through, and they will look for that 1,000th win in program history coming up on Sunday as they take on #4 Georgetown. All sorts of momentum for Hopkins as they finish off an 18-12 win. They are now 2-0 here on the year as they take down the Tigers on a Friday night at Johnny Unitas Stadium. We will step aside. When we come back, we'll wrap this one up here on Lax Sports Network. Welcome you back here to Johnny Unitas Stadium. Travis Eldridge and Brendan McDaniels wrapping up an 18-12 win by the Blue Jays here on our CAA Game of the Week on LSN. Brendan, just overall thoughts. What stands out to you about what we saw here tonight?
Well, I think we saw two very good offenses tonight. Johns Hopkins with 18 goals. They had a 7 spot in the second quarter. Towson had 6 spot in the third quarter. They did get shut out in the fourth quarter. I think that these offenses had some really nice plays, some really nice flow to the offense at time. The goaltending was a little bit shaky. on both sides. They're both going to finish under 50% with save percentage. You want to see that get a little bit better. But Johns Hopkins defensively, when the game was on the line, they clamped down the Towson offense and did not allow a goal in the fourth quarter. That was huge.
And you see number 32 there for Hopkins, Joey Epstein. What a first half performance from him. 6 goals, also added an assist. Dude just lit it up in that first half. And it was that run in the second quarter. He scored 5 straight goals. It was that run that really changed the landscape of this game.
Yeah, I mean, Epstein just got hot, and you could not stop him. And you could just see he deflated the Towson defense. Hopkins controlled the time of possession in that second quarter. That Towson defense was gassed, and they just kept giving it to Epstein. And by the time they adjusted to him, he had already had 6 goals at that point. The game looked out of reach, but give credit to Towson. They put together a valiant effort. They had a nice little comeback in the third. They took a 7-goal deficit. They pulled it within 2, but at the end of the day, Hopkins was just a little bit too much for him.
And that's one of the really cool things about this rivalry. You see him there with Mo Silla, the two of them teammates at the Landon School. So many of these guys in Greater Baltimore have grown up, whether it's club, high school, now in college. They've been dueling it out or have been teammates for a number of years, and get to see it on a great display of action here on a Friday night. Well, Brendan, this has been fun. We appreciate you, and this was a lot of fun. A great way to kick off the 2022 season here on LSN. But once again, our final score here from Towson, Maryland. Hopkins 18, Towson 12. The Blue Jays now 2-0 for the first time since 2017. We will see you right back here next week. Towson hosts defending champion Virginia at 1 p.m. Eastern next Saturday. We also got terrific women's action coming your way 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. UNC and JMU here on LSN. But for now, for Brendan McDaniels, our producer Dylan Hand, and our entire crew, I'm Travis Eldridge. We say so long from Maryland. Enjoy the rest of your college lacrosse weekend.